You all are about to turn into little seeds. So when I point at you, I need you to go into the tightest little form you can and be the tightest little seed that you could possibly be, okay? As best as your body is able. And in your seats, if you'd like to join along as you're able, you can kind of think of it in your mind, you can do it in your body. Okay, so as I point to you, you're going to turn into little seeds. All right. Okay. The light takes us to another world. Bright exposure. We cannot see anything, so we assume nothing is there until we feel our way through realms we only imagined. Light and dark. The dark takes us to another world. Depth, darkness. We cannot see anything, so we assume nothing is there until we feel our way through realms we only imagined. So we are seeds in the ground far down. It's cold, but it's not uncomfortable. It's almost warm like a blanket. And I'm there, tight, but I start to feel like I'm growing a little too big. And all of a sudden, I feel myself start to open a little, my shoulders, they open a little, right? And then I'm like, ooh, I'm comfy, but I want to move. I want to move up. And so I start to wiggle a little, and I start to move up. And as I move up, it's easier to move. And now I'm feeling free. And so I start to push, and all of a sudden I start to feel like at the top, there's something on the top, and I go, I want to feel that. And so I push my way through, and it's really bright. It's very bright. And I'm starting to go, ooh, it's kind of warm up here. And then I start to open little leaves. And those little leaves start to catch the water. This is something new. It's pattering all over me. This is new, and it's making me grow. My leaves are getting bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, poof, there's this really pretty bright thing on top of my head. And all of a sudden, butterflies start to fly around. I've never seen a butterfly before. This is incredible. And then I start to see birds. And I start to have little ants crawling up my stem, up my leaves, right? And I'm here, and I look around, and there's other very beautiful things around me. Wow! So light takes us to another world. Bright exposure. We cannot see anything, so we assume nothing is there until we feel our way through the realms we only imagined. Light and dark. Live in the reality of wonder, where streaks of light across the sky come together in the darkness, revealing Garden of Life. Thank you, everyone. Now, we have our class today, so if you would like to join us, we're going to be going out the back door. You can follow me, and we'll go downstairs with your teachers. All right? Thank you.
Where Wonder Enters by Beth Weaver Kreider. These are the doorways, the passages where wonder enters the soul on tiptoe. Here is the speedwell, up from the earth and smiling through snow, the breath of the wind on the ice-white wing of the gull. Gull's feather, the beating heart of the honeybee, and the black lace veil of the monarch, the moment of hush before sunrise. These are the liminal spaces, the cocked arm and quiet face of a sleeping child, the birth of a new idea, the rousing of thought to action and action to hope, the hope that is born on the wings of the wren, the way the weight of sadness will slide away from your eyes to make a little room for joy. This is the breaking news of the heart. First the aconite and speedwell, then the windflower and crocus. These are the vanguard, the silent scouts. For the purpose of this poem, I will be equating gratitude with wonder, and I wonder with spring. Wonder enters on tiptoe. A flash of impossible orange flickers high in a sycamore from the newest leaves on the highest branch. Comes a rustling, then a whistle, like calling a dog. The oriole returns to summon the summer home. And you may stand in the doorway as long as you like. Let that bright bird open spaces for new joy to fill the rooms where sadness used to be.
Thank you, Jim. So good to be back here with you again. I really enjoyed our time together a few months back, and I'm looking forward to speaking again today, and I'm enjoying seeing your faces out there. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and also happy St. Gertrude's Day. It's also the feast day of St. Gertrude, who is apparently the patron saint of cats and gardening. So, a lot of good stuff there. So I recently returned from a trip to Tanzania, where I spent the earliest years of my childhood. It's just a few degrees south of that wide belt of this big round ball. It's in a comfortable climate where the sun rises every morning at 7 o'clock and sets every evening at 7 o'clock, all year long. Our seasons were marked by the coming of rains and their going away again, by the migrations of birds through our town and zebra and wildebeest across the distant plains. But here, where the sun slips off to the south for a season, where the days get shorter and then longer again, this moment when the day and the night reach equilibrium brings me closer to that sense of equatorial rightness and balance, though the cold of winter still lingers in my bones. While I find the cold time and the dark time to be a bit of a challenge, I've come to love the seasons, to revel in this feeling of the shifting, whirling, tilting planet we live on. We feel it here in the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. This reassurance that one state of being will inevitably give way to the next, that the cold and the dark are necessary precursors to this riot of burgeoning growth in the spring. And that's kind of like life, right? Childhood, like springtime, gives way to the summer of youth, and then to the autumn of adulthood, and finally to the winter of age. The seasons of our latitudes remind us that everything is forever changing. Everything is in flux. And as Ursula K. Le Guin said in Tales from Earthsea Dragonfly, what goes too long unchanged destroys itself. The forest is forever because it dies, and so it lives. The one thing we can count on is change, they say, and the wheel of the year of the turning seasons tells us this. It's this grand paradox that you hear over and over. The only constant is change, right? Octavia Butler wrote in her prescient novel, Parable of the Sower, all that you touch changes you. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God, she said, is change. The seasons teach us to change, to let go of one state and take up another, to let go, to begin, to let go, to begin. In order to be reborn, renovated, refreshed, resurrected, we must first let this old part die away. The seed casing, the eggshells, the old ways of thinking and behaving. This is the sacred message of the turning of the wheel of the year, particularly in the season when we relinquish the cloak of winter for the flowery gown of spring. So this week we once again come to that place, one of the quarter points we mark in our planet in Terra's dance with the star Sol. This is the equinox. My head is full of complicated E words: equinox, equator, equilibrium, inevitable. All these equal points of spring, at these equal points of spring and fall, we feel this exquisite moment of balance, as in the moment that we're being flung further and further from our central star to our aphelion in the summer, or closer and closer to perihelion in winter. Do-si-do, son. Swing your partner. Welcome spring. Or if you're in the south, welcome fall. So let's consider this wheel of the year for a moment. I like to think of the wheel of the year on the compass rose of the directions. So that direction is east. So I'm just going to put my back to you a little bit here for a moment. And I think of north, for some reason, up, and east, south below, and west to the right. I like to embody it on my body, feel it here. So here to my body's east, I think of birth, of spring equinox, of stara, the element of air, the intellect, communication. South at our feet is youth. It's summer solstice. It's the element of fire and passion and energy. To the west, on our body compass, is the realm of middle age, of mothering or mentoring, of fall equinox. It's the element of water, emotional depth, dreams, and intuition. And up to the north is the realm of old age and wisdom. This is winter solstice, the element of earth, stones, caves, minerals, the body. It's all there on our own body. And in the middle, the center is spirit. That's the vivifying thing. That's what gives us life. It's the mystery, the labyrinth, the tree of life. These are the four cosmic points and the center. And the cross quarters that some of us think about are Bridget's Day, which happens on Groundhog's Day, when we begin to look at the light that's coming in. And then May Day, first day of May, and Lammas Tide, which is the first day of August, and then Samhain or All Hallows Eve. We've got these complex moments on the wheel of the year that we can celebrate, but that maybe is a homily for another day, to talk about the whole wheel. We're 3 days away from this one, from the official beginning of the season of awakening, of hatching, of breaking open. And though we've been feeling the urges and tugs of the season through this chilly wind and sun showers, through our long, warm, and tranquil afternoons, through gusting rain and rushing cloud and carpets of blue speedwell, patches of yellow daffodil and purple crocus, we're feeling it coming, right? Back in the season of Bridget, right around Groundhog's Day in February, we felt the earth stirring, right? You could notice the sap rising in the trees. And at my school, we actually tapped the maple trees and boiled the sap down to make syrup. Back then, we sensed that pull toward birth and sprouting, even while the winter chill lingered. But now we feel the promise. We watch the winter aconite drop seeds for next year's golden cups. And Persephone's footprints, all shades of crocus, springing up across the lawns, uncontainable by flower beds. I don't know about you, but I notice every year the crocus get further and further from the flower beds, like Persephone stepping across the lawn. Many pagans and witches and other earthy folk refer to this as the season of Ostara. Ostara we call her a Germanic goddess. She was first mentioned as Eostra by the Venerable Bede, the monk of the 8th century. Historians find no written record of her or her worship prior to that. And then Jacob Grimm, one of those two brothers, he was a folklorist, mentioned Ostara and referred to Bede's description and talked about this generalized Germanic goddess of the spring. So she may have been kind of a 19th century, not totally invention, but sort of embellished in the 19th century, because Ostara, Eostra, sounds like the German Ost, our Easter, right? There's a cognate thing that happens there. We don't know. Maybe it's from old ancient lore, maybe it's more recent, but she's come to be known as this goddess of spring. And there's a story about her. And again, we can't trace it. Historians can't trace it past the 18th century back behind. But we know that the German folk from whom she comes talked about eggs in the spring, and of course eggs are part of spring, and rabbits, right? And the Germans had this idea of a rabbit that let golden eggs or colorful eggs around for people. And so that's come to be associated with her. And the story is that there was a little bird that needed rescuing of some kind, and Ostara took this bird into her hand and transformed it, breathed onto the bird and transformed it into a four-legged rabbit. And the rabbit, in honor of Ostara every year, because it was a bird, lays these colorful eggs in honor of the goddess on her day. This may be ancient legend, or it may just be 18th century invention. And does it matter? It's the story, right? And it's a story that we see symbolized within our culture every year at this time. So we take it and we run with it, right? It doesn't really matter. Either way, rabbits and eggs and bright colors all symbolize this moment of life replicating itself, bursting forth from eggs and seed casings and running to riotous color. It's all there. For me, in any spiritual practice, such as celebrating a seasonal shift, the doorway in is the story. So we take what stories we get. So think about what story you find your way into unpacking the spiritual significance of this season. This week we enter the story of spring, and we drop the old story, leaving the burden of winter, that death shroud, behind us. Perhaps your story is the story of Jesus casting off his grave clothes, calling his beloved by name, and hatching a holy revolution of love. Perhaps it's the story of Ostara, tenderly rescuing a small bird and transforming it into a rabbit, who laid beautiful, colorful eggs in gratitude. Or maybe you travel back to ancient Greek mythology to find the story of Demeter, who has been grieving, deeply grieving the loss of her daughter Persephone to the underworld, so much so that she's left the planet cold and barren. And suddenly, she sees in the blooming crocus the footsteps of her daughter returning to the world to be with her. And in a moment, it seems as if the world turns green and lush in her joy. And isn't that what we've been experiencing? Suddenly, winter is gone, and there are 1,000 shades of green. These are stories of the moment of resurrection and transformation. The cycle from death to resurrection to transformation is an important one in our own human development. I want you to think with deep tenderness of your past self, of a time when you walked through the wintry valley of the shadow, grieving or depressed or anxious or troubled or mistreated or enraged. Remember, and do this gently, please, remember how it may have felt like this was the new default. And in the same way that winter sometimes feels like that Narnian winter, like it's always winter and never Christmas. Now, remember, if you can, how the time came when you felt you could breathe again, You could live again. You could move forward. You could step onto a new path. What came before is never completely gone from you, but you learn to walk forward into a new and regenerated vision of yourself in the world. And if you are now in such a wintry time, please know this holy, holy truth that we see in the seasons around us. Spring returns. Sometimes we need a little therapy, sometimes a few dopamine strategies, maybe medication, often beloved community circling round, but spring will come. Spring will come. In each of these stories, from Jesus leaping from his grave cave, of Astara transforming the little bird, of Demeter welcoming her daughter, resurrection is not the simple goal. Transformation is. We've arrived back at change as the constant. Jesus returns from the dead to remind his followers that the new way of being is love. Astara's bird becomes an egg-laying rabbit. Demeter rejoices, and the fields transform into 1,000 shades of green, like this congregation this morning, in all of our greens. So I'm just going to extend Elizabeth's beautiful meditation here. I was planning to do a meditation just like that this morning, but I want us to step back into that meditative space. Wherever you are in your space, whether you are breathing out into springtime or still breathing in the cold of winter, all of it is okay. But I want us to take a moment where we put our feet on the ground. You can release your focus a little bit or close your eyes and breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you do, notice that tender little plant that Elizabeth awakened within us in her meditation this morning. Breathe in. Breathe out and feel your roots go down into soil. Breathe in. Breathe out and feel your branches and your vines twining into sunlight. Know that growth is possible at every stage of your life. In and out. That which was within the seed with you is feeding you. That which seemed to have died is now the food for the glowing plant, the growing plant within you. Breathe in, breathe out. What is being born within you? What new capacity comes to life within this plant within you? What new heart space? What new plan and purpose? Blessed be your seeds. Crack open. Seek the sun. Feel the rains of spring caress your growing roots. And now, as you bring yourself back into this space, feel the breathing of those around you. Refocus and open your eyes. Listen to a little poem. Hello, Speedwell. Hello, Crocus. Hello, yellow winter aconite. Hello, all the plants of this beautiful garden of UUCY. Hello, bare feet on earth. Hello, raindrops. Hello, bluebird murmuring spring songs in the walnut tree. I cast off the weight of winter. I walk back into myself again. May spring come to your spirit. First, the moment of exquisite balance when your night and your day have equal play within you. And then the riot of song in the mornings, calling you out and outward, warmth returning to your bones and sunlight on your hair, rain that soaks the ground around you, nourishing your roots. Welcome back, precious seedlings. Before I leave you here, I want to offer some further questions and little rituals to take for you to consider in your own contemplations and meditations as you step into the season of spring. This week, as spring approaches, you can go back to Elizabeth's meditation. Feel the seed. Name the seed. Name the plant that grows within you. If you relate more to the birds, do a meditation on a small egg and you can feel the heft and weight of the egg growing in your hand, the warmth within the egg as the small bird grows. Name it, blow your breath into it, watch it hatch and grow feathers and fly. Especially for those of us who sometimes take a little longer to wake up to the spring, a little longer to cast off the grave clothes of winter. These are helpful meditations to kind of push our spirits up and outward as we go. Here's some questions for you to consider. Again, what new things are stirring within you? What is awakening? What is hatching? Look at the bees. What are the instincts and drives within you that must awaken like the bees to get your work done, to find the food you need, to carry you through the seasons, to create your sweetness? How do the forces of balance and imbalance work in your life? What can you do to bring more elegant balance into your daily rhythms? Or what ways might you disrupt and then transform the balances which keep you caught in a rut? I have to ask both of those questions of myself. If you find it hard to relinquish the austerity and severity of the winter mood, you might try a simple ritual. Bundle up in all your winter clothes. Name each item of clothing. Maybe that coat is going to represent a big grief that won't seem to let you go. Maybe the hat represents the lid I keep on my emotions, right? The gloves, the ways in which I keep myself from reaching out. And then go outside, stand in the sun, and one by one, peel off these extra items of clothing until you're standing in your cool spring clothes and you can feel the spring breezes and feel the warm sun. It's just one way that the body can activate the emotions and the mind. You might want to go out and lie in the grass with your head to north and your left hand to east and your right hand out to west and your feet to the south, and embody the seasons, the wheel of the year in your body as you lie there. You might gather some small items and tie them up in a bundle, some things that might be changed by elements, little pieces of paper and fabric, maybe some pennies and seeds, wrap them in a piece of cloth, go outside and bury them in the dirt, or put them under a rock, or hang them from a tree. Leave them there for 6 weeks, and then come back in May. Give your bundle a name for the vision or the dream that you hope to hatch. And in May, on May Day, open up your bundle, brush off the dirt, notice how everything in the bundle has changed and transformed. If you're crafty, turn all the items into a collage or something that you can wear. But somehow notice the way the elements transform the thing. So, one last poem and a blessing for you. Now may the fire of the sun feed the fire of our energy to do our work, to create our lives. Gentle rain, remind us of the grace to flow with the changes that we are calling into being. Fierce winds and teasing breezes carry our dreams outward like milkweed seeds to fall into fertile soil. And solid stone and earth ground us and steady us to make our visions real. May you come alive with joy this spring. May your soul expand in a riot of colors. May your roots grow deep into the darkness of earth and your branches sprout strong and green into the warmth of the sun. May it be so.
You join together with me in singing Rising Green, rising in your green, as you're willing to.
Thank you. Please join us in extinguishing our chalice and your home chalices, if you have lit them, with these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Enter the wild with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you travel far from heather, crag, and river, may you, like the little fisher, set the stream alight with glitter. May you enter now as otter without falter into water. Look to the sky with care, my love, and speak the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you journey on past dying stars exploding, like the gilded one in flight, leave your little gifts of light. And in the dead of night, my darling, find the gleaming eye of starling. Like the little aviator, sing your heart to all dark matter. Walk through the world with care, my love, and sing the things you see. Let new names take and root and thrive and grow. And even as you stumble through Maher sands eroding, let the fern unfurl your grieving. Let the heron still your breathing. Let the selkies swim you deeper. Oh, my little silver seeker, even as the hour grows bleaker, be the singer and the speaker. And in city and in forest, let the larks become your chorus. And when every hope is gone, let the raven call you home. Go in peace.